So I have a very important question that I'd like to end on though. You have to fight someone in poker for your vlog. Who are you fighting? There's got to be someone.
Christian would be a good fight. He's spicy.
Oh wow, Christian, that is a good idea.
Yeah, Christian would be a good fight. He's thrown hands in the past. You can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks like someone who might fight kind of dirty though.
Yeah.
Or equally importantly, this Jamin guy, he had a big mouth this week.
Jamin.
Yeah, Jamin, excuse me. He had a big mouth this week. He went on Run It Once podcast, right? And they asked him, oh, if you want to throw hands with someone and you think it'll be a good fight, like, who would it be, right? Chin. And I was like, what? You put my name in your mouth like that? Talking about it'll be a good fight?
Maybe he doesn't know you're lefty.
Listen, bro. Bro, if you want to set it up for charity, let's go. Let's go.
You know, Jamin's a big dude, right? Like, he's like 6'1", 6'2".
I fought big dudes before, but not like, not with rules like this.
Right.
It is Thursday, April 14th, about 5 o'clock, and I've decided, you know what, I'm going to play tonight, and I'm going to vlog tonight. I had so much footage from San Antonio and Rounders that I actually haven't picked up the camera in a while. And I've never picked this camera up. This guy's brand new. So I'm thinking, if I'm going to vlog, let's change it up a little bit. Let's not start at home. Let's start here on the Vegas Strip outside of the beautiful Bellagio fountains. So I'm on the list for 510 and 2.5 just in case I can't get into a 510 game. And tonight, I'm just gonna get it. Let's get it. And like I said, first outing with this new camera, so there's gonna be some bumps along the way. It's just part of new tech. So you guys bear with me as I figure this thing out. So if the ratio's off and I'm all up in your face, just deal with it. Deal with it. On a positive note though, we hopefully won't have to deal with any of the autofocus issues that I was having with the Canon Mark III. So I guess that's good. About an hour or so into this game and chips are flying to and fro. And although I haven't been playing many hands, the game is good. It's at this point a few players at the table ask if we can make it 5-10 with a mandatory $20 under the gun straddle. Honestly, it doesn't matter much to me, 5-10 or 5-10-20, whatever. However, I can see that there are a couple recreational types that appear a bit uncomfortable with it, but seem more like the I'll just go with the flow kind of guys and don't say anything. This was my first mistake. Upon noticing that, I should have instantly vetoed the straddle. Instantly. I didn't, and what happens next is the game gets instantly tight and bad. You'll have to forgive the camera angle in this hand, but I didn't notice it until after this hand was over. With the $20 straddle on, the cutoff opens to 50 and I look down at ace-queen offsuit. I can go either way between raise and call here. I typically randomize using my suits and sometimes the position of my big card. With the ace being black, as opposed to red, I've randomized a passive line and just call. Heads up, we see a flop of queen of diamonds, 8 of hearts, 7 of hearts. The cutoff continues for 50, and we obviously aren't going anywhere with this flop. We call. The turn brings the 9 of spades, and now the cutoff finds a check. top pair, top kicker, with the board trying really hard to piss me off, it's time to bet. We go a little bit bigger than half pot and bet $130. The cutoff wastes 0 time in calling. The board continues angering me by revealing the King of Hearts river. With 0 hearts in my hand, this might get quite precarious if the cutoff comes with a large size bet here. However, he doesn't. He checks. A bit fearful of the king, not the flush, I check it back. The cutoff puts pocket tens on their back, and I pull in a nice little pot. Although the game was kinda meh, standard poker was still winning the day. Open with Queen 8 suited on the button? Standard. Big blind defending a pretty wide range? Standard. Flop top pair and a flush draw on Queen of Spades, Jack of Clubs, 5 of Clubs, and the big blind leads with a check? Standard. The button betting 70 into a draw heavy board? Standard. And the big blind folding? Also standard. Under the gun straddle to 20 still on, an early position player opens to $60 and action folds to me in the small blind, and I look down at ace queen offsuit. A really good hand, but a really bad position to have it in. Had the opener been in a later position, raising here becomes more viable. Against an early position open, however, that's a dangerous proposition. So we just call, and the big blind and straddle get out of the way. As far as making a pair goes, we whiff the Jack of Clubs, 8 of Clubs, 3 of Diamonds flop. We often just default to checking in this spot heads up, and there's no reason to deviate here. We check. The early position opener continuation bets to $80, and with 2 overcards, one of which is the Ace of Clubs, we make a pretty easy call. The turn brings the Ace of Spades, which is good, but we check again since the early position player still has the initiative and an uncapped range at this point. The latter, however, is lost when he checks the turn back. The 10 of Hearts falls on the river, and in real time, I was thinking more money could be won here by checking and picking off bluffs. However, in this live setting, I should probably be leading here a lot of the time, as a good portion of these players aren't going to turn their nothings into bluffs. In addition, I could still get value from jacks and some weaker aces. This hand ends up going check, check. He exposes King Jack of Diamonds, and I win this one. The straddle was missed on this hand, so an early position player opens to 30. Action folds to the cutoff, and he slides in a raise to an even $100. Little did either know that I was sitting on the button with a monster, a legit killer. Okay, let's be real. It's a drawing hand. Ace-king suited. Either way, a 4-bet is coming their way, and I raise it to $260. Blinds fold, the early position opener folds, and the cutoff throws in the call. Heads up to the flop, we go in a 4-bet pot, and I'm in position. This is dream material, folks. King of Spades, Jack of Clubs, 4 of Diamonds. The cutoff checks, and unfortunately, this hand ends in a very anticlimactic way. I continue for $130, and he quickly folds. Ace King, it's still just a drawing hand. Under the gun $20 straddle is back on for this hand, and an early position player opens to $70. A bit on the larger side. That, coupled with the fact that I know that I have 3 players behind me rather than the normal 2, leads me to the decision to just call here on the button with ace-jack suited. The straddler also comes along for the ride. So there's 3 of us total. 7 of Hearts, 9 of Spades, 7 of Clubs. The straddler and the early position raiser both check to me. Paired board with 2 other players in the hand, and the original raiser checking gives me pause. I have a pretty decent hand, especially with the spade on board. I check behind. The turn Queen of Hearts isn't good for me at all. It doesn't improve my hand, nor add any backdoor equity. Heads up, if check 2, I'd most likely start bluffing here. 3 ways, it's trickier. Action does get checked to me, and I check behind once more. The river jack of hearts is decent, but it does bring in the obvious flush and not so obvious straight. If this is checked to me, a value bet is definitely in order. Only it doesn't get checked to me. In fact, the straddler now leads out for $160. The original raiser folds, and although there's a non-zero possibility I could have the best hand here, and I don't really need to be right all the time for this to be a profitable call, this just isn't a line that a ton of players take as a bluff into 2 people. I fold. $70. Hey, Chin, what are you doing here? What's happening, man?
First of all, didn't you just tell Berkey that this is the best hand in poker?
What's up with you in this hand?
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like the nuts.
I don't know why you're folding it then. I know why. Because he's scared.
No. This was offsuit. It's got to be suit.
Second, what's this I hear about you wanting to fight? I mean, if you want to fight, we could throw hands right now. Let's get it. Yeah, that's what I thought. Bloggers don't want the smoke.
Suited. It's got to be suited. And you're lucky I just got my nails done. It's mid-session update time. It's probably actually a little bit past mid-session update time. We are going to venture out to our old mid-session update spot. We don't know what the lighting situation is going to be. Got to make it work. Okay, not bad. Not bad. We can work with this. So, mid-session update time, and what can I say about this game I'm in? Listed as 510, but for a while we had a mandatory $20 straddle on. With the straddle on, the game was garbage. Garbage. There were a couple rec players in the game that were clearly uncomfortable with the straddle and the bigger game. So we ended up removing it for a while, and the game is still meh. In the game for 1500 at the moment, I'm guessing I have maybe 25 or so in front of me. I won a pretty sizable pot that you didn't see. I didn't have my camera on, with 6-5 offsuit, where I defended it from the big blind, ended up rivering a straight for about $500. Other than that, not much. Won a pot with ace queen, won a pot with pocket kings, but nothing interesting, nothing special of note. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to give this game another hour, maybe 2. And then maybe we'll wrap the night up with just some 2-5 at the encore. Just cuz. Why not? I can do what I want to do. game continues, and now the straddle is back off again. And in this hand, the hijack has opened to $30. Action folds to me in the small blind, and I look down at King 10 suited. A decent candidate for a 3-bet, and although this isn't one of the 4 varieties of this hand I would 3-bet, sometimes you just feel like 3-betting. So I do. I make it $120. Action folds back around to the original raiser, and he calls. Heads up, we see a board of 5-3-5 with 2 diamonds and 1 club. Honestly, the only thing positive about this flop is that there is a club. And I have the initiative. I'm looking to put both to use and c-bet for $80. The original raiser also has something positive in his favor. He has position and uses it to raise my c-bet. He makes it $200. Out of position with not much going on for my hand, I quickly fold. I'm going to switch this one up a little bit and just tell you what the villain has right here at the beginning. He has king high. Action folds around to me on the button, and we find it open to $30 with ace-8 offsuit. Right away, you should notice the only redeeming quality of this hand. Easy. It's the ace. That's literally the only thing going for it. The small blind folds and the big blind calls. The big blind should be defending here with a gigantic portion of his hands. Queen 9 offsuit, 6-3 suited, pocket 4s, etc. The fact that he doesn't raise means we can confidently remove hands like big suited aces, pocket jacks, suited connectors, so on and so forth. Now we see a flop, heads up. Queen of spades, ace of spades, 9 of hearts. A board like this definitely favors me. My range is still uncapped here. I can have aces, kings, queens, etc. He can't. He would have raised those pre-flop. So he checks. I flopped an ace, I likely have the best hand, and sometimes I bet this hand. But against this guy, I think checking can also make sense. So I went with that. The turn deuce of hearts is a nothing. Total blank. Could he have a set of deuces now? Sure. These are just the chances we take. But he checks again. I have a hand that is most likely good for 1 street of value. I can bet here and maybe get called by a queen, 9, a flush draw, and give the big blind reason to correctly fold everything else. Or I can check, pick off bluffs on the river, and if not, try to squeak out value there. I check again. The river 7 of clubs, another blank, and the big blind, remember, holding king high, has no other recourse. He has to bet. It's the only way he can win. If he checks, and for some reason I'm sitting here holding pocket 3s, and he loses, that's a disaster. Or if I'm holding jack 8 suited and he checks, and I bet and get him to fold king high, that's not good for him either. So he bets $30, and I make the easy call.
King high again.
And there's my value.
Call.
Hello.
Call. No, snap call. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Sometimes I do too much. We've all done it. We just fly a little bit too close to the sun. There's a line when it comes to playable hands versus non-playable hands, and sometimes I step across that line. Opening 9-8 offsuit from the hijack to $30, That's across the line. The big blind is having none of it and raises to $130.
You know, he would step across the line. Habitually, he's a habitual line stepper. First time, you know, I had to end up whipping his ass.
Not much I can do here. Fold. This is my last hand of the night. Bellagio 510 is a time-raked game. The new dealer was standing behind the current dealer, and I wasn't going to pay for more time. In fact, I had already grabbed a chip rack, and it was sitting on my lap. Action folds to me in the cutoff, and I open Queen 10 offsuit to $30. As normal in these games, the big blind defends. The two of us see a flop of Jack of Diamonds, 9 of Clubs, 4 of Hearts, and the big blind checks. Not a bad flop. Open-ended straight draw on an overcard. Good enough for a C-bet, and I bet $40. The big blind calls. The turn 7 of Hearts doesn't do much for me, and when the big blind checks, I check as well, and we head to the river. The river King of Diamonds, that does a lot for me. In fact, that does the most. The big blind now chooses to lead out for almost a full pot-sized bet, $140.
140, he said.
That's interesting. He's repping 2 pair plus. Well, if his hand is that strong, let's go big. We race to $400, which even seemed to surprise the dealer.
Great.
Taken back a bit, the big blind tanks for a while, but finally throws in the call. The dealer announces straight, king high.
Julio, 510, no limit, hold on.
Straight, king high.
And the big blind mucks.
All right, gentlemen, my time is up. New dealer coming in. The button is correct. Thank you, sir. 510, if you would, please throw out 7 for the new dealer.
Actually, I am out.
Those chips go directly into my rack, which felt a bit dirty, but honestly, sometimes that's just how it is. Y'all should be proud of me. You really should. Because I said I was going to stay like another hour, maybe 2, and I think I stayed an hour and 20 minutes. In that hour and 20 minutes, not much happened. The table was getting ready to die. Although my very, very last hand, I rivered a straight, won a sizable pot, and immediately racked up. Like, it was kind of dirty, but I was planning on leaving on dealer change anyway. Dealer just happened to come after I won a pot. So, dark or no dark, this is what's up. We are taking off, leaving the Bellagio, but the night is not over. We are on the list at Encore. Gonna head that way, get a few more hours in, and then see what happens. Results for that Bellagio 510 session in for 1,500 and out for 35.41. Here it's bright. So, nothing to complain about there. Now on to the Encore. Encore.
Some people say money gets you everything, but it don't make me happy. It's not the reason my heart sings. 'Cause what I've got, you couldn't put a price on that. 'Cause I got something real. I got something real. 'Cause I got love. Yeah, yeah. I got love. Yeah, yeah. I got love.
Race.
It's a race. 100.
Here with an old high school friend of mine.
Oh, hello. Welcome to the table, sir. Welcome to the table. You just sit down and you must be rich. Are you rich? Is that what it is?
Now I'm in the game, I was on the bench. First
I was renting, now I'm collecting rent. Run it up. First it with the Beamer, now I want the Benz. Spending all the bag like here I go again. Outside says chirp, now the camera phone. Told you I'ma keep the channels on.
The game I was in was kind of, where's Rain Delay been?
No one's really been asking.
Everybody's been asking where the hell you've been.
No one's really.
Tell them where you've been. Go ahead. I played a game of War. Down 200 in War. Let's not talk about that again.
Yeah, Christian gets down. He's not, you know, he's not a clown. He's not a slouch. Yeah, that'd be a good fight.
Yeah.
Computer scientists got hands. Like, what the hell's going on nowadays? Like, but honestly, no, I'm just kind of fucking with him. It was a really good interview. If you guys didn't watch his interview on the Run It Once podcast, it was actually really good. He described everything that goes into vlogging, his process of vlogging. He kind of took some shots at people too. He was like, bro, some of these vloggers, like, they make up the fucking vlog. Like, that shit never happened. And he was like, I've been there. That hand never happened.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Creative license, man.
Listen, I kind of felt that because, like, sometimes these vloggers run too good.
Thursday, April 14th. And you know what? I was sitting at home, decided I wanted to play, and then thought, you know, I've lived in Vegas for over a year. And most of my vlogs have just started in my boring ass house in Northwest Vegas. So we are, man, it's dark. Where's my car? Deal with it. We'll get through it together. You and me. Listed as 510. For a while we had a mandatory 10. For a while we had the mandatory 20. So we moved it back to 510. Game's a little bit better now. Then maybe we'll head over to the Encore. Maybe we'll just get some 2.5 in as like the nightcap. Let's end the night there. Maybe. I like this camera. I'm digging this. So you guys would be extremely proud of me. I think during that mid-session update, I said I was going to probably stay another hour, maybe two. I think I stayed another hour and 20 minutes. In that hour and 20 minutes, not much happened. It was time to pay time for the dealer change. And Oh, Lord. Why are you here? Oh, because I did it that once. Now you think there's going to be some new secret video every time? Like I ain't got nothing better to do than edit videos? Go watch Brad or Nimi or Rampage. Can I eat? Let me eat. Damn.